When Mickie James did this, fans were shocked. Or perhaps it was the moment when Chyna pinned Jeff Jarrett to become the first female Intercontinental Champion in history, as these women didn't just break barriers. They shattered them, from AJ Lee's surprising kisses to Sable's daring antics, proving they could put on a show and were just as tough as their male counterparts. And fans were about to relive some of the most intense and unforgettable moments in women's wrestling history, with one of the most shocking being the clash between Mickie James and Trish Stratus at WrestleMania 22, a match that wasn't just a showdown between two skilled wrestlers but the climax of a storyline that had captivated audiences for months, with Mickie playing a crazed, obsessed fan of Trish whose character grew increasingly unstable, mimicking Trish's moves, dressing like her, and attempting to befriend her while acting more erratic each week, creating a gripping narrative that built anticipation for their showdown. And as WrestleMania 22 approached, excitement peaked with the arena electric with cheers for Mickie despite her villainous role, setting the stage for an unforgettable contest where Mickie took control from the start, ruthlessly targeting Trish Stratus's left leg while Trish, ever the professional, sold the injury brilliantly, adding to the drama as fans watched on edge while Mickie dominated her idol-turned-rival. Before the match then took a dramatic turn, when Mickie countered a straitjacket attempt. She posed to the camera with a shocking, suggestive taunt, simulating an oral gesture while grabbing Trish, leaving the audience momentarily stunned before erupting in cheers as the match continued. And although Mickie then tried to execute a straitjacket move of her own, both women struggled, resulting in a botched spot that couldn't be hidden. Yet Mickie quickly recovered, hitting her version of Trish's chick kick, called the Mick Kick, to win the match, with fans celebrating her hard-fought victory despite the mishap. And while the match is remembered for its intensity and shocking moments, the aftermath backstage was equally dramatic, as Vince McMahon was furious over Mickie's suggestive taunt, confronting her about the time, effort, and cost required to edit the footage for future broadcasts, making her controversial moment at WrestleMania 22 one of the most talked-about incidents in wrestling history, with the taunt and botched spot edited out of later versions. Yet the memory of that night remains vivid for those who saw it live. And now attention turns to another unforgettable WWE moment involving Paige and Natalya in 2015. An incident still discussed today for its audacity, as Paige, known for her rebellious persona and gothic appearance, was set to face veteran Natalya in a Total Divas storyline match. A clash already highly anticipated, with Paige, real name Soraya Jade Bevis, standing out in the WWE Universe with her black hair, pale skin, and punk rock attitude, presenting a breath of fresh air and a character designed to break all the rules and defy the conventions of the typical WWE diva. And Paige fully embraced her rebellious role, with her defiant nature often clashing with more traditional and conservative characters, making her a fan favorite and a constant source of controversy, while Natalya, real name Natalie Catherine Neidhart Wilson, came from wrestling royalty as the daughter of Jim, the Anvil, Neidhart, and a member of the legendary Hart family, known for her technical skill and deep dedication to the sport. And their match was set up as a classic clash of personalities, with Paige refusing to play it safe, taunting Natalya and engaging the crowd while the tension built. And then in a shocking moment that no one saw coming, Paige licked Natalya's face in an act that was both provocative and suggestive, immediately shocking the WWE Universe as the crowd erupted with cheers and gasps and commentators were left speechless, a moment replayed and discussed for years. And as we explore the female wrestlers who pushed boundaries, it's essential to acknowledge early pioneers like the Fabulous Moolah, born Mary Lillian Ellison in 1923, whose career spanned over 5 decades and made her one of the most influential figures in women's wrestling, though her legacy includes dark and controversial aspects. As she began wrestling in the 1940s when women's wrestling was still in its infancy, quickly rose to prominence by capturing the Women's World Championship in 1956, and held the title for a combined total of over 30 years, with in-ring skill that was simply unmatched. And Moolah's charisma made her a household name, becoming a symbol of female empowerment in a male-dominated industry. But her influence went beyond wrestling as she opened a wrestling school to train and promote a new generation of female wrestlers, many of whom credited her for their skills and opportunities. Yet beneath this mentorship emerged troubling allegations in the mid-2000s when former trainees accused her of financial and sexual exploitation, with the controversy reaching wider attention in 2018 when WWE announced the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, prompting severe backlash from fans and former wrestlers and ultimately leading WWE to rename the event the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, with some of the most serious claims alleging that Moolah had arranged for trainees to be sent to Events where they were coerced into sexual activities, revealing a stark contrast between her public persona as a trailblazing wrestler and her behind-the-scenes actions. As wrestling executive Bruce Pritchard discussed on his podcast Something to Wrestle With, acknowledging the dark cloud over her legacy, stating that while she was a significant figure in wrestling history, the accusations could not be ignored. And despite these revelations, her impact on women's wrestling remains undeniable. Even as her exploitative behavior has left a lasting stain, and our next story of a female wrestler who pushed boundaries focuses on the legendary Chyna, known as the ninth wonder of the world, whose career was packed with groundbreaking and shocking moments. One of the most shocking and controversial moments in Chyna's career was her feud with Jeff Jarrett in 1999, a rivalry that culminated in a match that forever changed women's wrestling, as Chyna, real name Joanie Laurer, broke barriers from the moment she stepped into the ring. Her powerhouse physique and strength rivaling many male wrestlers, instantly establishing her as a force in WWE. And her willingness to compete against men set her apart, earning her a unique place in wrestling history. With the feud beginning in the summer of 1999 against Jarrett, then Intercontinental Champion, known for his chauvinistic attitude and belief that women had no place in the ring, making him the perfect opponent for Chyna, determined to prove that women could compete at the same level as men, and their rivalry quickly became one of WWE's most talked-about storylines, reaching its climax at the No Mercy pay-per-view in October 1999 in a good housekeeping match where household items could be used as weapons, adding controversy and playing into Jarrett's chauvinistic persona. And from the moment the bell rang, it was clear the match would be unlike anything fans had seen. With Chyna and Jarrett fighting with ferocity, the ring becoming a battlefield as both used everything from frying pans to ironing boards, with Chyna showing no hesitation wielding them effectively and proving she could hold her own. The intensity peaking when Jarrett tried to use a kitchen sink as a weapon only for Chyna to counter with a low blow, sending the crowd into cheers as she delivered a series of punishing blows. Both wrestlers pushing each other to the absolute limits. And after delivering incredible punishment, in a shocking turn of events, Chyna emerged victorious, pinning Jarrett to become the first and only woman to hold the Intercontinental Championship. And next we turn to Mickie Knuckles, whose story takes us into the brutal world of hardcore wrestling, where one woman's willingness to endure and inflict extreme pain has left a lasting mark on the industry, as Knuckles, known for her violent matches in promotions like IWA Mid-South and CZW, faced both men and women in some of the most intense contests in wrestling history, beginning her hardcore journey in the early 2000s and quickly establishing herself as not a typical wrestler, with fierce determination and a willingness to push her body to its limits, earning a reputation as one of the toughest competitors in the business. Her matches often leaving her battered and bloodied but never defeated. And in one unforgettable bout, the ring ropes were replaced with strands of barbed wire, turning the arena into a nightmarish battlefield, which would terrify many. But for Mickie Knuckles, it was another chance to prove her strength, as from the opening bell she and her opponent tore into each other with ferocity, the barbed wire quickly drawing blood as they were whipped into the sharp strands. Yet Mickie showed no fear, her face a mask of determination and pain, taking and delivering brutal blows with weapons ranging from steel chairs to fluorescent light tubes. And as the match wore on, the violence escalated to nearly unbearable levels, with Mickie continuously testing the limits of her body and resolve. And Ian and Mickie took turns driving each other into the barbed wire, their bodies becoming increasingly mangled with each passing moment, the crowd watching in a mixture of horror and awe as Mickie continued to fight, and in the end, Mickie Knuckles emerged victorious. Though the true victory was the statement she made about her toughness and fearlessness. And another female wrestler who pushed boundaries is Melina, who joined WWE in the mid-2000s and quickly gained attention for her unique athleticism and charisma, starting as the manager of MNM, the tag team of Johnny Nitro, later John Morrison, and Joey Mercury, before moving into the women's division where she became a multi-time women's champion, though her career was not without controversy, including a major rumor about an alleged affair with Batista while she was dating John Morrison, with gossip fueled by comments from Smith Hart, Honky Tonk Man, and Val Venis, and London and Kendrick in their first shoot interview, while Batista himself referred to Melina as a friend in his book, intensifying speculation, and the locker room was reportedly buzzing over the scandal, with John Morrison allegedly allowing the affair to continue to protect his career, knowing that confronting Batista could jeopardize his position. And Vince McMahon was said to be disappointed that Morrison didn't stand up to Batista, which allegedly cost him McMahon's respect. And despite any questions about the affair, not everyone believed it happened, with some insisting Batista and Melina only got together after her breakup with Morrison, making it more of a rebound than an affair. and while Batista tried to clarify in his book and interviews that he and Melina didn't date until after the split. The rumor persisted among the locker room and fans, with Tommy Dreamer recalling how wrestlers reacted, most wanting Morrison to take action, and Vince McMahon seeing his inaction as a sign of weakness that affected his career, while the rumor also hurt Melina's reputation, as someone used backstage influence to spread it and was respected enough that their word carried weight. Yet despite the controversy, Melina excelled in the ring, becoming a multi-time women's champion and one of the most memorable female wrestlers of her era. And now we turn to Sable, born Rena Marlette Lesnar, one of the most influential and daring figures in WWE female history, who debuted in the mid-1990s and quickly became a sensation, marking a major shift in how women were presented in WWE, initially joining as the valet for her then-husband Mark Marrow, but quickly outshining him with her stunning looks and undeniable charisma, captivating audiences and becoming one of WWE's most popular figures. Her rise coinciding with the Monday Night Wars, a period when WWE sought to attract viewers by any means necessary. One of the most memorable moments in Sable's career came at the 1998 Over the Edge pay-per-view in a match against Jacqueline, where she wore a handprint bikini, an outfit that left little to the imagination and pushed the boundaries of what was acceptable on television at the time, and Sable's influence went beyond the ring, as in 1999 she posed for Playboy magazine, becoming the first WWE diva to do so, with her issue selling over 1 million copies and cementing her status as a sex symbol, a bold move that blurred the lines between wrestling and mainstream entertainment and solidified her legacy as a trailblazer. Though her career was not without controversy, as she filed a $110 million lawsuit against WWE that year alleging sexual harassment and unsafe working conditions, claiming she endured inappropriate behavior and a hostile work environment. With the lawsuit eventually settled out of court, marking her departure from WWE and the end of an era, yet her influence endured, including a brief return in 2003 with high-profile storylines like a feud with Tori Wilson and a romantic angle with Vince McMahon, with fans remembering her as an iconic figure whose provocative persona and daring outfits challenged traditional notions of femininity and helped pave the way for future generations. And speaking of groundbreaking performers, Lita emerged as one of WWE's most iconic female wrestlers, with a career full of jaw-dropping moments. Her path to stardom beginning in the late 1990s after discovering Mexico's lucha libre style, a high-flying acrobatic approach that would become her signature. Setting her apart from other female wrestlers of her era, Lita made her WWE debut in 2000, initially aligning with Essa Rios, but it was her partnership with the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff Hardy, that truly launched her to fame, as her daredevil antics and fearless attitude quickly made her a fan favorite, unafraid to take risks with moves typically reserved for men. With her signature moonsault becoming a highlight that showcased her incredible athleticism. Yet it wasn't just her in-ring skill that made her stand out, but her willingness to push boundaries and create unforgettable moments, including a match with Trish Stratus during one of the most storied rivalries in WWE history, where Lita shocked audiences by forcefully kissing Trish on the mouth. A provocative act that blurred the lines between reality and scripted drama, instantly becoming one of WWE's most talked about moments, highlighting Lita's readiness to challenge the status quo in a male-dominated industry, proving that female wrestlers could be just as daring, controversial, and unforgettable, even while enduring numerous injuries, including a severe neck injury that required surgery. Keeping her out of action for over a year, Lita's determination and passion for wrestling never wavered, and she made a triumphant return to the ring, continuing to push boundaries and create unforgettable moments, with her influence inspiring countless female wrestlers to chase their dreams and break barriers in the industry. And in 2014, she was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, a fitting recognition of her incredible career and contributions. And next up is AJ Lee, born April Jeanette Mendez, a wrestling legend who shook up WWE with her wild persona and impressive skills, growing up in a tough New Jersey environment and finding comfort in wrestling, idolizing stars like Lita and Trish Stratus, which fueled her passion to pursue a wrestling career, beginning training in 2007 at age 20, working in various independent promotions before signing a developmental contract with WWE in 2009, starting in Florida Championship Wrestling, FCW, and making her main roster debut in 2011 during the third season of WWE's reality show NXT, her quirky, energetic personality quickly making her a fan favorite, and one of the most shocking and memorable moments of her career came during a storyline involving multiple male wrestlers in a single night, where AJ kissed John Cena and CM Punk. And Daniel Bryan left fans and fellow wrestlers stunned, as AJ's storyline with him showcased her willingness to push boundaries, evolving her character from a loving girlfriend to a manipulative and unpredictable force. With the story peaking at WrestleMania 28 when AJ's kiss with Daniel Bryan led to his quick 18-second defeat by Sheamus, a shocking moment that became one of the most talked about events of the night and cemented AJ's status as a key WWE player, and her career continued to soar when she became general manager of Monday Night Raw in 2012, a role filled with drama, controversy, and unforgettable moments that highlighted her versatility and ability to captivate audiences in any position. Yet it was her in-ring skill that truly defined her career, with her technical ability, agility, and storytelling earning widespread acclaim. And in 2013 she won the WWE Divas Championship, holding it for a record-setting 295 days with memorable feuds against Kaitlyn, Natalya, and Naomi, delivering incredible matches that solidified her as a top female wrestler, and despite injuries and personal struggles, including her battle with bipolar disorder openly detailed in her memoir Crazy Is My Superpower, AJ remained a force until retiring in 2015, leaving a legacy of unforgettable moments and groundbreaking achievements that continue to inspire wrestlers and fans alike. And lastly, Sunny, a true trailblazer in wrestling, whose story remains one of the most controversial in WWE history. Captivating WWE fans as one of the most popular figures of the mid-1990s, Sunny's relationships with fellow wrestlers, particularly Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, created a whirlwind of drama that fascinated fans and shook the locker room. With her romance with Shawn Michaels beginning dramatically after he was attacked by a group of men at a bar, leaving him seriously injured. And Sunny, staying in the same hotel, ensured he received medical attention and visited him daily as he recovered, an act of kindness that sparked a close bond quickly turning romantic. Their affair hardly a secret as they were often seen together, even vacationing in Jamaica where their relationship deepened, which Sunny later recounted in her autobiography. Yet the romance was complicated by Sunny already being involved with another wrestler, Chris Candido, known as Skip, making the affair an open secret in the locker room and causing tension among peers. And when the Sunny Days promo insinuated that Bret Hart had also been involved with her, the WWE locker room was left stunned. Bret didn't immediately understand the implication, and it wasn't until later that night that other wrestlers explained the meaning behind Shawn's words, with the fallout from the Sunny Days promo being immense, as Bret's personal life was thrown into confusion and he ultimately backed out of his match with Shawn, while the promo added fuel to the already intense Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart rivalry, deepening the rift between Sunny and Shawn, whose romantic relationship had already ended but who still had to work together professionally, with the tension among these three superstars culminating in the infamous Montreal Screwjob later that year, one of the most controversial moments in wrestling history. And within a year of the promo, all three had left WWE, marking the end of an era. While Sunny's post-WWE life has been tumultuous, facing legal issues and battles with addiction, yet she has made efforts to reconcile with her past, including a moment with Shawn Michaels at Raw's 15th anniversary, while Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels famously shook hands in the ring over a decade after the Montreal Screwjob. And if you enjoyed this video and want to explore more thrilling stories like this, click on any of the cards on your screen.